We're going to start to head into some precarious terrain here, the mind of the millennial, and we're going to hear from one of them. Jilliene Helman made her first $1 million at 27 years old. She was named to the Forbes 30 Under 30, and she's going to share with us today some ideas for how we can attract, retain, and incent the millennial generation and our next generation of workers. Jilliene?
My name is Jilliene Paige Helman, and I am a millennial. But the fact that I'm a millennial may be the only reason that I'm standing in front of you today, because I fear that I'm going to fail each and every one of you, because there is no silver bullet to managing millennials. We're people, just like you, just like your employees. We're individuals, and the secret to managing individuals is to figure out what actually makes each individual tick. So I took the liberty of totally changing the title of my presentation to managing a millennial, a single person, a single unique individual. After all, we are the generation that grew up getting trophies for going to soccer and baseball and basketball, even when we had no idea how to shoot a ball. I'm a prime example of that. We were preconditioned to think that we were special. So treat us in a way that is really, really, really special. The first thing that you need to know about millennials is not all millennials are created equal. One of the things that makes me cringe more than almost anything in the world is being called a millennial. I can't tell you how painful this slide was. It's like so painful. Sitting there typing it going, oh, these people better be really good people. I'm committing fraud that I'm a millennial, right? Time magazine calls our generation the me generation. Millennials are lazy, entitled narcissists who still live with our parents. This is how you think about millennials, and I urge you, just don't hire any of them. Your life's going to be so much easier. But if you're willing for another 9 minutes and 51 seconds to let me entertain you with the fact that a single millennial can change the name of your organization, then I think that you've got a great opportunity to build something in your organization. I was 5 years old when my parents got us our first computer. I had my first flip phone when I was 8 or 9 years old. I grew up in this world of instant gratification. And I would urge you for a second not to think of instant gratification as a negative thing or a negative connotation. Realize that we as millennials have had instant gratification our entire lives. You're never going to strip that away from us. So give us instant gratification. If you want to be a great manager, know we need it and give it to us. It translates to giving praise. And I used to be terrible at this. I am like the worst person at giving praise. If you knew me 5 years ago, you would be shocked that I'm sharing this piece of advice on stage. But what I realized was that if I can give our millennial employees an instant shot of dopamine straight to their brain, instant gratification and praise, be able to create a more empowered workforce. And the reason this was so hard for me is because I'm of the ilk that you put your head down, you do your job, you get paid for your job, you're grateful for your job, don't complain, don't need praise, and just get the job done. See, not all millennials are created equal. But most millennials need praise. So what I did was I challenged myself, I'm willing to give praise 10 times a day. I would question how many of you walk into your office and count every single day, have I given 10 elements of praise? I would challenge you to take this away and try it. And it's created an amazing culture at our organization. The best part about praise, single best part about it, it's free. So this starts to eat and feed on itself. We now have public boards and public praise where all of our employees are now giving each other praise all day long. These are 3 examples that I just pulled off of our board in advance of the presentation. Really, really, really exciting stuff. So the other element of childhood trauma that I want to talk about is social media. No joke, I pulled these direct off of Facebook. This is a friend of mine who's half naked and on Facebook, right? It's this fascinating thing where millennials have been conditioned to share on the internet. We've been conditioned to make things Googleable. We care more about experiences and a higher purpose than we do about physical goods or money. Although there are some millennials that just care about money, I can assure you. So the idea that social media has been preconditioned to us, what does that mean? What types of experiences can you create for either millennials or other employees within your own companies? Some examples are perks and experiences. Let them bring their dogs to work, give them chair massages, cater lunches, give them service opportunities. At our company, we serve meals 3 times a week. We do a monthly sponsored happy hour, and we take 2 days a year to do service opportunities. Last year, we built a home for Habitat for Humanity. These are the types of experiences that millennials expect. It's not just about going to work and having a job. Their personal life and their professional lives are interconnected, and they want something that they can put on social media. They want something they can share. They want something that shows the world that they're cool and interesting and innovative. I find conferences is a great way to do this. We send folks at our company to all kinds of conferences, whether they're technology or real estate or investment. You know, the other thing that millennials care about that's tied to this idea of social media is purpose, right? And living a purpose-driven life and living a purpose-driven way of being. And I've talked almost nothing about myself and my company. You probably have no idea who I am other than a wacky millennial. So I've told you very little about who I am, but let me tell you for a second who Realty Mogul is. And I want to draw it into a higher purpose, not just to spend a bunch of time talking about who we are. But I'm the CEO of Realty Mogul. We have 80 employees. We're in 6 offices, so I'm managing a distributed team. We've got a lot of millennials and also a lot of non-millennials. And we're an investing platform for commercial real estate. So we help people to invest in commercial real estate. We give discerning investors exclusive access to real estate, rigorous underwriting, high-touch, white-glove customer service. Investors can invest with us directly online at realtymogul.com. They can also invest with us through investment advisors that custody with Fidelity or Schwab to get access to our products. And we operate and own and manage 2 public non-traded REITs, or real estate investment trusts. Now, if I was recruiting a millennial and I just told them what I told you, they're out the door. That person is not coming to work at my company. So how do I change the message? How do I talk about our company in a different way and in a way that they're going to come and they're going to want to work with me because there's a higher purpose? What we do is invest in real estate, but our purpose is to generate hundreds of millions of dollars in passive income to change people's lives. We want to give people the ability to fly to New Zealand and take that vacation, to spend time with an ailing family member, to spend time with a newborn baby. We want to generate income for people. We're building a new industry on our backs. Our company has single-handedly defined the crowdfunding for real estate industry. We're the largest online private market for real estate investing. We've invested in over $1 billion of real estate. We are a game-changing company, and we want you to come work here to build something with purpose. See the difference between the 2 descriptions? So I would question, what is the purpose of your own company? Why should your team care? And are you clearly articulating it? Now, I've shared with you that millennials care all about this higher purpose, and they want to do good in the world, and they're amazing in the world, but at the same time, they're individuals, and they want to be treated as unique individuals. And maybe there's something that we can learn from childhood about advertising that will help with this. This is an ad from 1971. It's a Coca-Cola ad, and it says, "I'd like to buy the world a Coca-Cola." Right? Really simple. We're selling a Coca-Cola. Here's one from the 2000s. "My name is Amy, and I drink Coca-Cola." Very, very different messaging, right? The messaging in this advertisement is, "I am so special, my name is on a Coca-Cola." So you have to give millennials this opportunity to be individuals and to work with them as individuals and to train them as individuals. One of the ways that we do this at our company is through career ladders. So when we grew up, it was go to elementary school, go to middle school, go to high school, go to college, get a job. You end up getting a job and you walk into the workforce and you're totally lost. You don't know how to increase your motivations within the workforce. You don't know what you're supposed to be doing. You don't know how to get a promotion. Remember, we're the generation of instant gratification. So even if we have to have delayed gratification, teach us how to get there. This is the detail of our career ladder. And what we're doing is on a single page, we are telling each and every one of our employees, what are the skills you need? What's the approach you need to take? What's the knowledge you need? And what's the communication and leadership styles that you need to excel in our organization, to advance in our organization? You'll note 2 things. One, this is 1 page. Millennials can get their point across in a 140-character tweet. Don't overwhelm them. The second thing is that there's no column here for tenure. I do not mind having a VP at my company who's a millennial who becomes a VP in 2 years if they have the skill set to do it. I do not mind having a millennial in my company who will never be a VP in my company because they're never going to have the skill set to be able to do it. But millennials have been taught that we want to advance quickly. We're always rushing. For some reason, our lives have been in a rush, probably because everything is one ongoing Facebook post. But the idea is that there's no tenure here. And to keep the very best of the best millennials, you have to promote them, and you have to promote them rapidly, and you have to not care how much you piss everybody else in the company off, if they're that great. It's the only way to keep great millennials. I remember before I started the company, and I knew I am a CEO in my heart, in my head, in my gut. I knew I am an entrepreneur in my heart, in my head, in my gut. And yet I worked for a big bureaucratic financial institution for 5 years. I gave them 5 years of my life, and I was an incredible employee. And I did it because they kept teaching me. They kept teaching me things. They sent me to Japan. They put me through formal credit training. They got me all of these fancy certifications that look really cool on LinkedIn. And the best way to buy loyalty, I think for millennials, but I honestly think for all employees, is to teach them. One of my favorite business philosophies is don't mark my paper, help me get an A. It's by Ken Blanchard, and there's an amazing book that he wrote about this philosophy. And the idea is that you're teaching. Teach millennials how to show up in the workplace. Teach them how to write an email. People straight out of college do not know how to write an email. If you teach someone how to properly write their first email, they will never forget you. Teach millennials how to think deeply. Teach millennials how they can get an A. Teach them how to be successful within the confines of your own company, within the confines of financial services. And I'll leave you with one final thought. One day, every magazine is going to be swipeable. So you better hire the people who know how to swipe right. Thank you.
Apologies for the technical difficulty.